Hello, people. I made it. Alright, now all we need is some prayers. That's it. And see how it goes. They said it's going to Atlanta, so they said it should be there by Monday or Tuesday. And then hopefully we'll go from there and get a decision. And it's, I'm just going to tell you, it's from the Real Estate Commission, because I'm trying to, get into something, and, I know it's going to be a hard thing, but, and let me turn this down so I don't get copyrighted here. So I am hoping that I had a send in so I can get a clearance letter because of my record. I had, I got in trouble, but it was back in 2002. I was in trouble a few times actually, but I pled first offender. But even if you do plead first offender, they want you to disclose that, because I guess they can dig deeper. So I just went ahead and got that, and got that court records for that, and then I also got everything else, my criminal history background. I had another charge after I got in trouble. I got another charge like a year later, and that's the only charge that's on my record now, because I pled first offender. Georgia's got the First Offender Act, and if you complete your probation and all your sentencing, and you don't get in trouble or anything, then they sponge it off. You're not considered a convicted felon anymore. And now it's risky though, because what happens is if, like, let's say for example this is how first offender works. Let's say for example, let's say you're on regular probation, right? And you get in trouble. Not like you violate your probation, right? So with that, with just regular probation, you may have, let's say you have a month left of probation. You may only, if you violate, you may only do that month, that 1 month, right? With first offender, if correct me if I'm wrong, if you're from Georgia and I'm, if you work for the courts or anything, this is how I've read it, and this is how it was explained to me the day, I was sentenced, and when my lawyer and my public defender, he explained it to me. If you can, here it is, the first offender, if you are on, let's say you're on your last day of probation, right? Okay, and you violate, and your probation officers can violate. They can, it's in their hands and in the court's hands, right? Really, your probation officer, I guess. But let's say you violate your probation the last day of your probation, or the day before you're supposed to get off. If you violate anything, then what they can do, they can revoke every bit of your probation, and they can sentence you to the maximum of what your charge, the maximum sentence of what your charge should be. Like I was, my time, I was facing 5 to 35 years in prison, but I took the first offender plea, and I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. My arms are getting tired. Sorry. But I was facing 5 to 35 years for a drug sale charge. They offered to let me turn state's evidence and snitch and all that, but I did the crime, and I do the time, So I was like, no, thank you, And then they asked me why, and I said, well, I would rather spend years in prison than, like, a few years in prison than spending the rest of my life looking over my shoulder. And then they said that they never heard that happen before, but I don't, Dalton's small, it doesn't matter. I did it. That's not the point, though. The point is I did the crime. It's, I went to the person to get stuff. I did that. So I do the time. And anyways, so, so I was facing 5 to 35 years, in prison. But, if I would have went to trial, they said they had me on video. If I'd went to trial and they displayed that video, I probably could, I don't know if I could have filed it or not, but they never showed me the video, the evidence. They never showed me the evidence, I guess they hold that over you, hold that till they get you into court, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when they'll try to hang you, because some people may try to fight it and don't think they have the certain evidence. But anyway, if they told me they had evidence that I had did it, they never showed me the evidence, but, or they said they had me on video. So I knew I had did it anyways, because I remember because I didn't do that often. I didn't do that at all. That was my first and only time I ever did that. And I got caught, okay? So I did it, and, so then they offered me a plea bargain. But if I would have went to trial, I could have been facing 5 to 35 years. Or, yeah, I could have been facing that. So I was like, no, it's like, I'll just take this plea bargain and, I can do it, I'm going to try. And, I don't know, the first couple years were rocky. I wanted to do things I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was, I got on drugs and shit real bad. And, but luckily I had a lot of support, family support. And now I wasn't doing my probation or my community service. I wasn't doing my terms of the probation, right? And I got in trouble a couple of times while I was on it. And the probation officers, they had mercy then, and the good Lord did too. But let me tell you though, I had a good probation officer the first time I had one, and then they gave me another one. And then because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, they sent me back to the first probation officer I had. And I'm going to shout out, God rest his soul. He just passed away I think sometime this year. He just passed away. Mr. Hayes, Charles Hayes. He was a tough one, buddy. But they gave me back to him because I wasn't complying. His nickname was Spanky. But I wasn't complying like I was supposed to be. I wasn't doing my community service, wasn't paying my fines and this and that. And so he got me in there, and he was like, he said, I don't think if you're going to do what we're going to ask you to do, that you shouldn't be walking the streets. So that kind of scared me. I was like, he's right. They're going to knock me up. And he was going to, honey. And he didn't play with you. He would have locked you up. So I was like, okay, I got to get myself straight. So they sent me to another probation officer, and I had to do some drug treatments too. I wasn't on drugs. Well, I wasn't on drugs when I got caught, but I was, I got high after I got out of jail and stuff. But anyway, so they gave me to this other probation officer, and he finally suggested a drug treatment place. And because what it was, you have to pay for that drug treatment, of course, the drug counseling, whatever. And in most places you had to pay up front. Well, this guy, he ran a tab, so so I went to him, went to this Helping the Hands over there in Dalton, and it was at this church. And I'm not going to lie to you. It was the one that I went to. Now, I've heard that there were some that were really decent. There's this one guy, I believe, around here I wanted to go to so bad, because I heard that he was a former crack addict, and I heard he was really good. I can't remember his name, but this I think he charged you like $50 or so many dollars up front. So I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it wasn't. I could see why that program, that drug treatment, because you could choose. It's just that one, like I said, that one ran a tab. I didn't have to pay anything up front. But I tell you, I would have hated to send anybody that was really strung out on dope to him, or to that place, because it wouldn't have been effective, because he didn't really. I'm not trying to dog anybody. Of course, later the gentleman that ran it ended up going to get in trouble for sexual harassment, though. Anyways, so it was like, I felt like he cared more about the money. He barely talked to you or anything. He didn't really care about anything but the money. And he barely talked to you about your drug problems or anything like that. You come in there and you'll say a couple of things, and that was it. And then you pay, or he'd worry about the payment and all that, which I know he had to get his money. That was part of the deal. Yeah. But it wasn't like an effective treatment place ever. So, I mean, it's shut down now because, like I said, I think he got in trouble for, I don't know if the program shut down or if he's just out of it, but I think he started it. And so I think it may be shut. I'm not sure, but I know he got in trouble for sexual harassment or assault or something. I'm not sure. But I went there, and then, that probation officer suggested that place because of the tab. So I went there, I got my certificate, and then, like I said, and in between time, I really have no many places to go. And then, I told you about the story about the $100 tip from the guy at the Waffle House. And I started living with my dad, and then me and my dad started living together, and, my daddy kept me straight, and I didn't want my daddy to see me go to jail. But he didn't see me go to jail, but I did go to jail while we were living together, but it was for like about 3 weeks, because I had gotten in trouble like a year after I got out of the probation detention center, and I was on state probation, and I got and I was in this car, and I was driving, and I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, I seriously did not see them blue light me, because I did not, but I was going 35 and a 45. And anyway, but they called me later, when I guess I got over county lines and started following me, whatever. But anyway, they got me later in downtown Dalton, and I went to jail for eluding an officer. And then after that, I didn't. I had lost my job at the Waffle House. I was still on state probation, and I was scared to death that they were going to revoke me, because they could have sentenced me to the max. They could have sentenced me that 5 to 35 years. You know what I mean? If they'd have revoked that sentence, I could have gotten that time. So I was scared to death, and I didn't have a job because I had just lost my job, and I was working at the Waffle House. I'd lost that job, and you know what I did? As soon as I lost it, though, I went straight to. I went straight to the IHOP, got me another one. And then Waffle House ended up calling me back, and I went back. I worked both of them for a long time. And then me and my daddy lived together, and I got my shit straight. Started paying all my fines, started doing my community service, and God bless the guy down there at the community service place. He was just amazing. And by the time I was supposed to come off probation, I had already had all my fines paid. Anyway, so what happened with the fleeing and evading charge is I did not report after I lost my job. I got both jobs, but I stopped reporting anyways. I just stopped reporting for 2 years. And something happened at the Waffle House, and police had to come in and investigate. It was a cash shortage, but I think for insurance reasons they had to report it. So they had to get like 2 people, the 2 people that were in the register at the time, and they, you know, when they ran my name through, they found I had a probation warrant. I don't know where the shortage came from, I promise that. But, you know, they came and got me when I was working at the IHOP. I was at work when they picked me up. They got me to put me in jail, and I went to court, and they gave me 45 days in jail. And Whitfield County, they use a lot of, I mean, I think a lot of places do this, the 2 for 1. They used to give me 2 for 1. I only did like 23 days, but they squashed that whole, that completed everything. That completed, not the state probation, but it completed all the city probation. And, then I got my shit straight, and started working at the Kangaroo, which turned into Circle K. Ended up paying my fines off, and by 2009, when I was supposed to be off probation, my probation ended July 12th of 2009, and by that time I had everything paid off. My fines and my court costs, everything was done. I just want to cry thinking about it, but you know, we got through it. I thank everybody for that. And the good Lord. I'm sorry, y'all. So I'm hoping that what I'm going to do now is a new chapter. You know? So. I'm really sorry. I just got real emotional there. Anyways, so I'm hoping that this thing is a new chapter, and I hope that we move forward. And you know, the past is always going to come back and bite you, no matter what. It's going to come back, but you can't live in it, you know. So let's hope the, you know, past doesn't define our future, but it does come back to you though. So if you're young, try to stay yourself straight, you know, so you don't have them problems. Anyways, so yeah, I want to thank everybody for that time. You know, my dad and my mom and my sister, and good Lord, most of all, and that man that came into the Waffle House that day. Anyways, so I'm sorry, y'all. Alright, so I appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to post this to YouTube, and hopefully it'll get through it. You know, I'll post it on YouTube, and you know, the whole video today. And I'm glad. And then the walk ended up being 0.77, so it's almost a mile. So it was good. I'm so happy for that. Anyways, y'all have a blessed day. Remember, Jesus loves you, and we do too. Hello, people. I'm back. I'm so sorry that I got emotional earlier. I hope that, I just, you know, was thinking about old things, and, you know, and hopefully, what I was trying to say was, I had to, you know, I mean, I finished it. That was the ending, because I was, you know, having to revamp there. Anyways, get through that real quick. Anyways, what I was trying to, I should have finished everything by saying that, when I talk about that, it is emotional, because now I tell you, I've been clean. You know, I was on that meth for a couple years or so, And on and off, first time I tried it, I was like in the year 2000, and then I didn't do anything. And then after that, I did, like, I got on it real bad in 2003. And I did it for 2 to 3 years. But I got clean, though. I remember walking into the Waffle House. I was working there. And walking into the bathroom. I was high as a kite. I remember walking to the bathroom. And I looked in the mirror. And the first thing I said was, I looked in the mirror and I just was like, this ain't me. I can't do this anymore. And I just quit. Now, I've been clean since 2005 or 6. Yeah, 2005. So I think I got clean before I went to, 2006. Before I went to jail. And when I started living with my dad, I got clean. Like, I stopped doing that. Like, a few months before my dad lived with me. But before me and my dad lived together. But if it weren't for him, I praise God for him and putting us together, because I, got my shit straight and paid everything off and all that. But yeah, so I've been clean for about 50, oh, dang, how long ago was that? 14 or 15 years off meth. Now I do an occasional drink. I do have videos where I've done live videos where I've drank some. I had to slow down because you don't want to open doors to other shit. And now I do an occasional drink sometimes. Or my thing is when I drink, I want to keep drinking. Or I might do and I have since then I've smoked pot here and there every now and then, but it's been a while. It's not like it's an everyday thing for me, but because it's been a while. But other than like anything harsh, like meth or anything like that, like hard dope, I haven't done that in years, and I don't plan on it. I've been clean from that for 15 years, 14 years. And, I think I've smoked about 3 or 4 joints in the last 5 years. No, last 8 years. Since 2012. But, so in the last 8 years, about 3 or 4. So it's not like it's an everyday thing for me either. Every now and then. I was doing it there, I think one time I did it 2012, and do it again for another 5 or 6 years later. So it's not like, it's like a wild hair type thing, but I don't get high like it all the time anymore. So that's how I wanted to conclude it. If you were on dope, or somebody you love, if it's somebody that you love, don't lose hope, and don't think that you're not doing enough. If you're like feeling bad that you can't get them off of it, don't feel like you're not doing enough. Prayer works miracles, it does. But the people that you love, though, they gotta get clean too. They gotta want to do it too. You can only do so much. And sometimes I'm going to tell you, when you give in real easily to them, yay! Sometimes that makes it worse. I'm going to be honest with you. Because if you don't push somebody, they'll never, if they can get it, if you don't push them, then, or make it to where they don't hit rock bottom, they'll never bring themselves up. So, I'm telling you, you gotta, like I said, though, if you do have a family member you love that's on that stuff, you're doing what you can, so, and like I said, you can only do so much, and then they gotta want to get clean too. And some of them will say they want to do it, but it is easier said than done. But I mean, I pray for anybody that has an addiction. I mean, you know, it doesn't never necessarily have to be dope. I mean, people are addicted to food and all kinds of stuff, but at dope, you know, people lose. I mean, you lose weight on it. Don't get me wrong, but you lose a lot of other stuff. You weight, teeth, wife, house, kids, husband, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's an effective way. Anyways. Alright, so I just want to finish that off after that emotional thing. And I hope that, you know, now we're going to start getting back good to our working out and exercising again. I just went off the grind there for about a week. And let's pray that this thing goes through with the real estate. And alright. Well, y'all have a blessed day. Remember, Jesus loves you. And we do too. And if anybody's in the Chatsworth area, remember they're having their fireworks tonight. Because remember they had to postpone them from the 4th of July. So they're going to have them tonight. Alright. Well, y'all have a blessed day. Remember, Jesus loves you and we do too.